you don't understand the world the way that your parents understand the world. This world is cruel, it's evil, and if they have the opportunity, they're going to try and destroy you. And as teenagers, that's something that's going to be really hard to come back from. Really, really hard.
So thank you. So that's short video also relates to what the previous mommy just talked about. It's all about teenagers. How many of you here has phone? How old are you?
10 years. 10.
Okay. So as little as 10 has a phone. I remember those days when we were here, it was more of boarding school. There's nothing like even day school. So that's what we're going to talk about. So let's go to the main slide. Our topic is about social media interference and how parents can curb the excesses. So like we said earlier on, that first video was supposed to propel us to give us an idea of what the danger is that children face. So it will be about mommies or parents and then the children. So it will be in twofold. Like I said earlier on, our topic is about social media interference and how parents can curb the excesses. There's a table of content where we'll be talking about the definition of social media and then the potential consequence, how parents can curb it, and the key take-homes. I'm on the third slide now. So what is social media? Children, you have an idea what social media is. So I'm coming to the big ones. It's more of interactive. Very learned person, so you should be able to. What do you understand in layman's term? Just say anything. It doesn't have to be exact.
Um, due to our understanding, social media is okay. Social media is how like a platform where people get information, or a website where people get knowledge, information, and other stuff.
Fantastic. Clap for her, please. She tried. It's good. It's all there. It refers to the negative impact. That's what we're talking about. Refers to the negative impact of excessive. They say too much of everything is bad. Do you understand? We're not saying don't use social media, but we're saying that too much of it has its own negative effect. And that's what the definition says there. So we'll go to the next slide, which now talks about the negative effect. Next one, that it has on our kids. Most times, because most of you have, that's why it's more of pictorial so that you try and understand what I'm trying to talk about. Because most of you have phone, like this 10-year-old boy. I'm sure most times, instead of sleeping, you're checking your phone. Which message has dropped? At the end of the day, late nights, you can't sleep. When mommy or daddy, they are waking you up to go to school the following day, you're still wanting to sleep because you're fatigued. You understand? So those are the effects, the negative effects. And then the next one, please. It distorts reality, trying to be who you are not. Thank you. Somebody has concurred with me there to say that that's true. It gives you an image that you are not. You're trying to, sometimes like P Square, they will say. They say it's audio. They come around, maybe they go to their friends, they get a lot of money, they put it on the table, they begin to sing. Fake life, correct. Trying to be what is not. That's the effects of social media. It distorts your reality. At a point, you don't even know who you are again because you're very unrealistic about what it is. The next slide, please. Mine is very short, so You'll soon finish, but I want it to be very interesting so that we can all, just like we said earlier on, to say that you don't sleep because you've been online for a very long time. It indirectly affects your academic impact. There's a negative impact on it. Where you are supposed to have read, you're busy watching your phone. You don't want to miss the next update on maybe Mohbad's death or somebody's. You understand? I think this guy is feeling me. You know? So you're always wanting to know what is happening. So excess of it then distracts you. You're not able to meet up with deadlines. You're not knowing what is happening in class. Instead, you're more focused on social media. The next slide, please. And then it suddenly becomes an addiction to you. It distracts you. It becomes addiction. Sometimes you have not seen your phone. You're shaky. You want to know what is happening. You can't concentrate. It's all about the social media. You want to be on Instagram. You want to be on Twitter. You want to TikTok. You want to shake bum, you know. Those are distractions. It makes you lose focus, and you become so addicted to it that even your behavior begins to change. Next slide, please. It then begins to give you mental issues. Do you understand? It gives you mental, especially among the young ones. You know, the rate of depression. I remember sometimes ago, my young niece, she's less than 25. She was told to do a master's program abroad. And all of a sudden, once we call her, she says she can't talk, that she's depressed. And I'm asking, what's making you depressed? It's all part of the social media. Too many things she's trying to do at the same time, but not meeting up. She wants to do this. She's seeing her mates or her contemporaries that they are into this, they are into that. The parents are also saying, start getting ready. Immediately you finish your master's, you're coming to get married. So everything together, put together, she's beginning to feel depressed. And you know the way these most abroad people, they're usually very lonely. It's them and their computer, school or whatever, or work. So they're usually very lonely, and that may probably cause depression for them. So, like I said, excess of everything is bad. Next slide, please. So your productivity, the time you're supposed to put in to achieve a lot of things, is depreciated. You don't do the things that you're expected to do as a result of this social media. There's more focus on the social media, which is your phone, your TikTok, everything that is social media. Everything is concentrated, even at work to some of us. Rather than trying to do some things at work, we concentrate more on our phones, our laptops, our YouTubes, everything that relates to social media. So the kids are calling for help. There's also cyberbullying. There are some cases where you have platforms that are breathing down for cyberbullying, where individuals are targeted with hurtful or malicious messages. Sometimes you just comment on something because you're on social media, and then the next person who takes it up begins to antagonize you without even seeing the content of what you have written, but because they believe that they have an edge. And sometimes it gets to people because people have different emotional background. So it begins to affect them. Now we are calling for help. So I'll turn to this side, speaking to our parents. How can parents curb these excesses? These children are actually calling for help. How can we help them? Our parents need to be aware of the potential dangers that are associated with social media, which was part of the first slide that we presented earlier on, saying that we need to be conscious of what they do. So what are the things that we think we can do? We need to periodically check what our children are doing, who they are following, who their followers are, what social media platform they are on, the people that they are connected to. You know, these are things that we need to do from time to time if you want to give them a phone. That's why I know recently I saw some kids using a tab, but in those tabs, they don't have some of this social media. And those ones who have, it is expected that we as parents, once in a while, my daughter is going to be 20, my last girl is going to be 20. I know from time to time, I ask her, I go through her phone, give me your password, although she keeps changing it. From time to time, I take her phone, I go through her phones, and when I see things that are not right, and I'm asking her, so who is this person? Why is this person writing like this? You say, oh, he's my friend. Okay, tell me more about that, your friend. You know, we have those conversations. Sometimes it gets heated. She won't talk to me. I won't talk to her. But again, as a parent, I'll go back again. I say, but you know that you can do this thing better than the way you've done it online. You could have done it in this way. So once in a while, we need, as parents, we need to go through their phones, even though it can be difficult. The boys won't even let me touch their phone. But they know that I have a place where I usually wait when it's time to catch their phone. When they want something from me, I say, go and bring your phone. If you don't bring your phone, I'm not giving you. So we play that game. So maybe they will go and delete. I don't know what they do. Yeah, begin to show me. Who are your friends? Let me see. Who is this girl? Why is she dressed like this? Why is this picture here? Why are you doing this? You know? So they are conscious that anytime mommy can ask me for my phone. So it is good that as parents, once in a while, we just need to go through some of them. They are not yet 30. I think the oldest is 27 for my son. Okay. They are adults, but sometimes I just like to just get involved in what they do. So the next slide. We should be able to have open communication, which I just said. Foster open and honest conversations with your children about the online activities. Encourage them to share their experiences and concerns. I share my experiences. I'm not ashamed to say whatever I have done or who I've been with or what is happening and all of that, because we all have an experience. We have something to talk about. I know when I first started job, it was very hectic. I know the number of passes I get when I go out, even doing my sales, that's marketing. I come back sometimes, I have this engagement with my children. I said, especially the one that is a girl, I tell her a lot of stories that they want to use this avenue to get to you. They want to use that avenue to get to you. It is your choice, but you need to be smart about those choices. Because men, like the first video said, are very, very human beings generally. Because it's not only men that are harassing women. Women also harass men. So people are really very dangerous. We are not who we say we are. So I keep explaining that, and I think it's a conversation we should all have with our kids. And again, there should be some things that also, what do we call? There should be some red flags. That's the next slide. There should be some things, yes, this one. There should be some things that shows red flags that we can say, yes, there's actually something. There's sometimes that I just see my daughter blank. I'm talking to her, she just gives this straight face. I'm very much focused on my daughter. So sometimes I see this straight face and I'm like, what's happening now? What's wrong with you? Why is your face like this? You know you're not fine before like me, you know. I use those kind of terms. I say, you know you're not fine like me. You're squeezing your face again. What's happening to you? She say nothing. Then I go around again. I ask the brothers, what's wrong with Simi? Why is she doing this? Sometimes she relates more to the brothers. So when they tell me, then I now call her and I say, Auntie Ngbo, I heard this person did this to you online. What's happening? I said, you're into so many social medias. He said, because she's president of our faculty, she's president of hostel, she's this, of that. She's into so many things in school. So she's in her final year in Bangkok. So sometimes I speak to her and tell her, and I say, sometimes you don't need some of these things, and you don't let people's words get to you, because you can't be reacting on everything that everybody says. Some words will come to you. You should be able to absorb some. It makes you a stronger and better person. So those are some of the conversations we as parents must have with our kids. So we need to set limits, establish clear rules about screen time and app usage. So it now refers to these young ones. For them, I can't take their phone, but with those young ones who are teenagers, who are just coming up, who are still in secondary, primary, nursery school, I think there should be limits to which we give them some of these gadgets. I know of some parents will give an iPhone 14 Pro Max to a 10-year-old child. It does not show affluence. It just shows stupidity. They don't need it. Even me carrying it, it's not everything in here that I know. I just carry it for fancy, but it's my level. But for these children, giving them an iPhone 14 Pro Max or a phone that is bigger than this, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. I think we as parents also have a way to like try and curb some of these excesses that they also face on the social media forum. The next one. So, emphasize empathy. Teach your children about online empathy and the impacts of their online words and actions. My auntie said it earlier on. Somebody died in school. Your children is telling you about it. And you're like, oh, face your front, leave that one. Those are some of the things that they also take online. Since my mommy did not show empathy when that person had this challenge in school, so why should I be gentle with them online? Please settle down. Why should I be gentle with them? You should try and show empathy, show love, because that's where they can actually confide in you. They can actually express themselves freely with you without holding back. But if we're too stiff with them, everything back, boo. You understand? It makes it difficult for them to relate. And they transfer such aggressions online. Next slide, please. So, most times, again, we also notice, just like we said earlier on, the social media also interferes with their own work. There should be work balance. That's what we call it, work balance. There's time to play. There's time to read. Like they say, is it all work without play makes Jack a what? And I'm sure you guys are bright people and you don't want to be dull. So taking too much of social media rather than your studies may end up making you a dull boy, and I'm sure you're not a dull person. Yeah. So let's go on. So there are these offline activities that parents should also encourage, especially for weekends. There's this activity for us. We have table tennis at home. So even if it's to play small goal posts, especially for the guys, 6 aside, you know. Find people in your neighbor, you go for such exercises rather than just burying yourself cycling, you know, rather than just burying yourself on your phone. And it then makes you, is it an introvert? Yeah, you're always on your own. You don't want to mingle. You say you're shy. You're not necessarily shy, but because you're used to being on your phone, being alone, you know, so it then makes you more to yourself. And sometimes it's not good. But if you express yourself most of the time, sometimes you overexpress it. You have somebody who tames it down and then tells you, no, you have said too much. Somebody like me, maybe that's why they put me in sales. I talk a lot. So it is good to express yourself, talk to your parents. Sometimes you talk us to sleep. Sometimes when my daughter wants to talk to me, I say, okay, be talking, I'm hearing. It's not all the time I hear, I confess. Sometimes I'm sleeping. But I'm saying, I heard it. Go on, yeah. But it's also good for you to express yourself, to have some games apart from, there's Ludo. You guys know how to play Ludo now. There's Scrabble. Scrabble is even very good for you guys. You know, rather than just concentrating on only phone, you know. It is not good. Like I said earlier on, too much of everything is bad. So what are the take-homes for our parents? There are 4 things that we want to look at for the take-home for parents. Can you please go to the next slide? Yeah. Can you move it? No. I can see it here too. Okay, so I can see it now, don't worry. Or you want to push the board a little? Okay, fantastic. Great. Awesome. So there are 4 points that you've been able to highlight for our parents as part of the take home. We say teach, strike, remember, and open. So the first one is for us to teach our children critical thinking, to help them evaluate the information they encounter online. So it's not everything, like we said earlier on, it's not everything that they see online that is true. So it is nice that once in a while, when we see some of these things, we explain to them what these things, explaining is also like teaching them that this thing you've read online is not true. You hear them calling billions, millions, you know. Some of them, like they said, Peter said, P square. He said it's audio. People just drop things, drop names. They're really not true. But as parents, we should be able to analyze some of these things to them. Then the other one is strike. Overall, the key is to strike a balance between allowing your children to enjoy the benefits of social media while also ensuring their safety and well-being in the digital world. Everything now is about digital, digital, digital. For everything we do. A few minutes ago, I was standing outside. I was worried that my presentation slide may not open. And then I got engaged with a gentleman. And then we started talking. And some of the things he said was more about, what does your company have for Gen Z? Everybody wants to be savvy with the internet. Even my mommy, as old as she is, she even has more information than even me on the internet because she's always on her phone. She'll be the one telling me news of what happened. Do you know that this person just released this music? Do you know that this person... Internet is good. Social media is good. Let's not bring it down, you know. But excessive of it is what is not good. For the children, it also gives them some form of information. Gives them information on some things that are... Even, okay, for instance, now they are trying to do an assignment. Before now, I never knew Chat GPT. My son just taught me last week. So every time my MD is talking to me and he's saying something, I quickly go to Chat GPT. I download it. I forward it to my staff. I said, please give me a note from that. I've learned something. It's online. So these children can also know one or two things that relates to the internet and how they can actually make themselves better digitally. So number 3, remember that every child is unique, and your approach to curbing social media excesses should be tailored to their age, maturity level, and individual needs. The way I would treat a 10-year-old should be different from the way I would treat a 16-year-old that is seated there. They are two different experiences. And I think Auntie Biola also mentioned something related to that during our conversation. They are two different. The way I would teach a 1-year-old is different from the way I would treat a 10-year-old. So we should be able to draw the mark to say, okay, on this one, I don't think you should go to the site. On this level, I think you should go to the site, but leave this section and do that section. It's all just training them and making them better people. And on the 4th one, open communication. So they say communication, communication, communication. Communication can never be enough. We need to constantly engage. We need to constantly speak to these kids, because speaking to them also makes them in their subconscious. You know, sometimes because we know that mommy will come and check my phone, so you're conscious not to even leave that site on your phone because they already know. And then you communicate to them. All we've been talking about so far is more about communication, telling them things that they need to know, things that they shouldn't do. And I'm sure they are good children. They would listen to us. But again, the communication approach also matters, because feedback is a two-way thing. It depends on how you're communicating. If you're communicating with a slap all the time, it's okay. You want to, no problem, slap me. I'll still go back to what I'm doing. But there are some ways we can actually communicate with them that will make them also want to listen to us. So everything is communication, communication, communication. So I want to end the slide by saying thank you for listening, and I hope, kids, you enjoyed what was presented, and daddies and mommies, I hope we've been able to pick one or two things. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen.